What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please subscribe here and please follow me on Instagram at RussoLifts in case something happens to this channel. You can follow, message me, interact with me directly, and there's daily content on there. Hope to see you guys on Instagram. What's up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. So, been asked this question 1,000 times on all my social medias, so here's my response. I don't have to individually type to everyone asking. And the question is, what do I think of the SARMs ban 2020? What's the deal? What do I think? What's my opinion? So I'm going to get to the straight up facts about it, and then I'm going to get to some insider details or slash what I think is going to happen, and then I'm going to go into my personal opinion at the end. Feel free to comment down below your personal opinion and express it in detail, not just like, oh, this is dumb or this is great, you know. Express it in detail. Let's have educated conversation in the comment section below. Follow me on Instagram at RussoLifts in case something happens to this channel. But let's get started. So this webpage I'm pulling is from GraisleySenate.gov. I will link everything down below for you to read to know that I'm not pulling facts or bullshit out of thin air. Alright, Senator Chuck Grassley, I almost said Greasley, out of Iowa, and the Sheldon White House introduced legislation to crack down on SARMs. They're calling this the SARMs Control Act of 2019, which is essentially a rehashing of the SARMs Control Act of 2018 that was done by Senator Hatch. So they're just picking up where he left off and trying to get the bill pushed back through. So I did follow Senator Hatch's bill, which I thought had a lot more hype behind it than this current bill. Again, we will see. That's my opinion. But Orrin Hatch, he had it going for 2018, and it was introduced on April 24th, 2018, and I did govtrack.us. Status: died in a previous Congress. This bill was introduced on April 24th, 2018 in a previous session of Congress, but was not enacted. So they are picking up where Hatch left off. There's really no news about that other than it's back in the queue, it's back in the slot machine as far as, you know, pushing it through. What is my personal opinion? I don't know. I think it could go either way. Personally, I thought the Hatch's bill was going to go through. That was my bet. But again, it all depends on, you know, the current election status, what other things Congress has to address, the evidence they need to enact the bill, the resources that it required to enact the bill. It's a lot more complicated than just it's going to go through, it's not going to go through. I would lean definitely towards it's going to go through. I also lean previously it's going to go through for the SARMs Control Act of 2018. So that's my thoughts. It's just a rehashing of the 2018 bill picked up by different people because Senator Hatch retired, so someone had to pick it up. Again, not getting too political here, but there's a lot of lobbying power from other industries who want to see this bill go through. So obviously it was going to get picked back up, especially since they laid the foreground to try to get it through already. So that's my thoughts on that. We will track it. I tracked the previous bill you can track any bill through Congress, so you can always see the status if it's making progress or if it's not making progress. So we will track it as it goes. When we look back in history to the Pro-Hormone Ban Act, it took around, don't quote me, about 8 months, but it could take even longer than that, again, depending on what's going in Congress, or it could not even progress at all, or it could be expedited if something crazy happens. Don't know. That's my thoughts on that. It's not really the interesting part of this whole ordeal. The interesting part of this whole ordeal is the China situation. So China is banning, or quote unquote putting more penalties on this ban list. So a trade act went into ordeal that's going to affect not just SARMs. Again, SARMs are kind of like the poster of the list of banned substances, but there's a lot of things that affect a lot of different things as far as, so again, there's a bunch of the SARMs, there's a bunch of the peptides, even the healing peptides that Essentially all they do is promote blood flow to the area. It's all on this list. So this is the tricky thing about this whole thing, is there's now penalties involved with the manufacturers as far as exporting these goods. So yeah, I'm going to link that ban list down below. There's a ton of stuff on there. Again, it's not just SARMs 1-andro, 4-andro, which is going to affect a bunch of different companies. That's like their banger product. Then you got basically all the SARMs. I think there's a couple SARMs that they just straight up don't know about that have been left off the list. But most of the common, most popular ones that, you know, athletes are popping hard for, definitely on the list. Then you have a lot of the peptides, a lot of the healing peptides that just promote blood flow to certain areas. Those are on the list. And then you have some certain nootropics for cognitive enhancement that are on the list as well. So there are now steeper penalties for exporting these once this ban goes into effect, which is at the end of January, I believe, is when it goes into effect. So what I think is going to happen, and what I've heard, is a lot of the manufacturers are actually going to stop because there are steep penalties now. You know, back then there really wasn't steep penalties. From what I've heard, manufacturers wise, a lot of them are going to stop. Are all of them going to stop? In my opinion, no. I think what's going to happen is you used to be able to just go on Alibaba, buy what you want, you know, work with a manufacturer directly. None of that's going to happen anymore. That's all going to be completely gone. I think only the big time players will be left in the game who are doing volume, because again, the introduction of the SARMs Control Act, it just introduced. It's not enacted. Once it's enacted, SARMs will be done in the USA. They won't be done. They'll just all go underground, and then the quality will absolutely suffer. Just like anabolic steroids and pro-hormones, they didn't go away. They simply went underground. The government doesn't get any of that money, and then the quality suffers, and then the danger and risk goes through the roof because there's no quality control, there's no ethics involved in underground stuff. So that will probably be the fate of SARMs if that does pass, but right now it's just introduced. So again, I think it could take up to 8 months or beyond, or not even make it through, before we see that enacted and SARMs being added to the same schedule as traditional anabolics. The ban, however, is more interesting because it's going to affect the marketplace a lot. There's going to be lesser overall companies, in my opinion. It's going to choke them all out. And then you have other industries being affected, like the 1-andro, 4-andro, as well as nootropic industries being affected. So, in my opinion, like I said, I think only the big time players will be left to work with the manufacturers. There will no longer be a free marketplace like Alibaba where you can go and communicate and do small orders and have no issues. I think that will be completely gone after January. That's personally my opinion on the insider information I have received. At first I was like, no way China is going to even listen to that, just because how China is chucking out fentanyl like nobody's business. Basically the most dangerous drug ever. I mean, it can cause death. Just minuscule miscalculations of dosings. So they're shoving that out. They're shoving just poison around the world. I just didn't think that they would care. Based on the insider information I've gotten, a lot of them are going to stop the manufacturing, and it's basically going to be a lot harder for you know, an individual to work one-on-one. I still think the big time players will be left. So that's honestly what I think. Now here's my personal opinion on this. You know, you have so many things being affected, and it's all political at the end of the day. You know, I don't think the evidence is there to ban them. The evidence, in my opinion, wasn't really there to ban anabolics as well. Why can I go to any gas station and buy chewing tobacco which clearly states a warning that this could kill me, this could cause gum cancer, but I still have the choice to buy it. I accept the risk. I want to put a fucking dip in my lip. I can still buy it. I can still go to a gas station, again, around the United States, pick up a carton of cigarettes, which they have so many chemicals in them, I can't even remember or memorize the amount of chemicals in cigarettes, which also have a warning label that these can kill me, these can cause lung cancer, and I can still accept the risk and buy them. Why can I go to the store and buy honey buns, which cause massive insulin resistance and overall are straight poison to your body, which have no warnings on them, and it's just causing poison? Sugar is one of the most addictive things, again, in rat studies compared to hard drugs like cocaine. Doesn't matter. I can still buy them. There's no warnings. So when you have these compounds like ostarine is shown to increase bone density, overall bones deteriorate with age. SARMs were studied for muscle wasting diseases. Guess what? Every single person has a muscle wasting disease called age. Again, people much older, experienced lab rats have messaged me that it's like the difference between walking with a cane and walking without a cane. So that is going to be taken away for some people. Again, they're not really, it's not like they don't know the risk. With these things, I think you should have the freedom to make the choice or to not make the choice. Again, just my opinion. You know, there's things like alcohol, which can cause massive addiction issues, can completely change the psychology of a person over a period of time. Is straight poison. Again, I can just go drive. There's a liquor store literally 2 minutes down the road that I can go buy vodka and just drink myself to death. I don't understand why anything that works as far as muscle building and overall increasing health needs to be completely banned. Again, cardarine, although there is research pointing with cancer, also dramatically improves HDL levels and can help in obesity situations as well as help in overall weight loss scenarios. Again, we can point to McDonald's causing cancer in studies with meat and stuff, but you know, I can go buy that anywhere. I can't. Eventually they'll be controlled and I won't be able to do that. So that's my personal opinion. I just think the risk should be clearly stated, and then you should have the choice to accept the risk or not. Like, there's other things you can do that are extremely risky, such as alcohol or tobacco, nicotine. Even THC has certain risks associated with it, which now in some states I can go buy the most potent edibles, which could completely wreck me for 2 days, and that's fine in some states. Why these SARMs and why anabolics in general need to be banned. I also don't understand why changing my gender to a girl is so easy, but so many of my followers message me that they cannot get a script for tests, even though they're clearly in the low. But heaven forbid they wanted to change their gender, man. It would be snap, crackle, pop. They would have the hormones to do that, let alone give a man a normal amount of testosterone to experience a normal quality of life. Again, someone living their entire life with low testosterone or low androgen in general, because SARMs, steroids, your natural testosterone is all an androgen, right? So when you have people who, with the current food system that's enacted today, you're having kids never fully hit puberty because of how the food is increasing estrogen. It's too processed. People aren't overall educated on how to eat cleanly, how to maintain a normal insulin sensitivity. That's never taught in school. You have them not even reaching puberty, then them going through their 20s with overall low testosterone. That's extremely affecting their quality of life. And then you have them trying to go to a doctor and then getting denied, saying their test is still in the normal range, when this range is so extreme and everyone's so different. There should be no arguing. I could argue that I want to change myself into a girl and that would be fine. But it's just like, for some reason with the androgens, it's not happening. I don't understand that. Again, I think people need to overall educate themselves more. And I think people should have the freedom to choose what they want to put into their bodies, because there's a lot of stuff that the FDA has approved that, it's not really pointing fingers at them. I get that stuff falls through the cracks. I also get stuff that gets pushed through the cracks as well. So that's my overall opinion. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. I hope everyone is well, and happy Thanksgiving.